download the app, sign up the app, and no matter where we're at from this day forward, you will always get a notification and you don't have to go chase Facebook. So, or X at this point, because I'm over chasing anything. So, y'all get on over there to fallbackusa2.myshopify.com. And while I was talking, Darren, I can't stand Jasmine. Not the debauchery of what she makes black women appear to look like on a regular. Yeah, please unmute your microphone. Not on that. It's you. You are damn elected official to the United States Congress. Act like it, and I am over it. The stuff she come out of her mouth, since she hates Republicans so bad, since she hates MAGA so bad, since she joined in jump on MAGA movement, then we're gonna put her in the same position, and we don't give a damn about her. So everybody, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Please make sure y'all share. Our next guest is up. We do have a actual picture of her because I have no idea, but we do have a picture of Elaine. So Dave, bring Elaine on. Hey Elaine, unmute your microphone. I'm just waiting for she got to unmute her. Hey there, Warren. Due to so many executive orders, laws, and appointments are becoming invalid. No, everything that you have to unmute your microphone. Everything that Joe Biden needs to be called to the dang old carpet. Now that we're finding out, even the doctors are coming out and saying that he's been sick way before. His doctor, not the White House physician. So I don't care what you said. It's on my timeline. His doctor, before he went into the White House, said there's no way that Joe Biden caught cancer last week. So save your breath. I don't care what you got off MSN. I don't care what you got off a speaking, talking head from lamestream media. Cancer doesn't work that fast. It's in his bones. Yeah, okay then. And now the same Democrats are asking for the Republican Party to halt all investigations from the auto pens to the Russian collusion to to the Epstein. They want all ALL investigation into Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Sarah Biden, and James Biden, and the Democrat Party when it comes to Kamala Harris using that money frivolously by getting Beyonce and Meg Thee Stallion to twerk for y'all on stage, to wasting a lot of this money. So now the Democrats, led by Jeffries, are demanding, I didn't say asking, I should have said demanding, the Republican Party, Jim Jordan, Comer, and the rest, to stand down and stop the investigation. But you got Chuck Schumer coming out today and blaming Donald Trump for the Navy ship, the Mexican Navy ship that ran into a side of a building, bridge, killed 2 people. I said I'm about over any Democrat. Don't tell me they got to say no more. Tarnish the taste buds in my mouth, and it wasn't drinking 4 cups of coffee. Hey Elaine, how you doing?
Good. I had to figure out the Zoom
No
and all the
problems.
links. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I told everybody that is you up on the screen, and that can you tell it because I know who you are, Elaine Kilgore, but can you tell everybody else just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll start talking about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. I I have been an educator for 38 years. About 35 of them were in the state of Georgia, and 3 of them were in China. That was 2014 to 2017. I voted for Trump in China. I talked a lot about Obama. I really, um, as a teacher, you don't get a chance to interact with your political party a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to wait until I retired to get active. And, things were going great with Trump, and I think I had that Trump slump. But in 2019, end of 2019 and 2020, I I became active in the local Fayette County Republican Party, and started door knocking, um, you know, going to breakfast, starting serving breakfast, doing everything. And, uh, and then I was elected to the executive board in 2021, and I became chairman in 2023. And I've been reelected chairman for the second term.
Now, you was a school teacher for 35 years. When did you start noticing a change of patterns of us learning instead of, problem solving, common sense, figure it out yourself? When did you start seeing the disrespect to teachers, the disrespect to authority, not really focusing on the schooling and teachers not having the authority like I used to have in classrooms?
Um, I started in Valdosta in Lowndes County, and it was very rural, and the kids were very respectful there. And then I moved to Fayette County and Griffin, and Griffin has a different segment of people. It's pretty rough down there,
Mm-hmm.
and and then and Fayette County has very wealthy people in it, and that those kids can tend to be disrespectful too. So it was a little bit different, but I loved teaching in China. I had great active parents, and the children were very bright. Um, but yeah, I just kind of
Well, you kind of did say Griffin, Georgia. Griffin is sort of like Macon. Macon and
yeah,
Griffin is like the West Side. I mean, the hoods,
yes,
the
definitely.
wards and the. You was in Griffin. What did you expect?
I know, but I
But
needed
then
a
you,
job.
but you went to the rich side of town and you saw them as being more disrespectful.
Yes, they didn't believe anything, you say. And, it was, and if you have parents, if you have a disrespectful child, the parents are usually worse. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. However, like, with the Common Core, and then towards the end, in the 2010, late 2000s, you saw a real change in math,
Yes.
and you saw I just thought we were doing a disservice to the kids. Like, um, children in kindergarten, maybe I was just observing some bad kindergarten teachers, but they wouldn't teach how the kids are supposed to know how to write letters before they come into school.
Well,
And
isn't
these
that the
kids were
parents?
drawing
That
these letters. I had to correct
yeah.
handwriting for second graders. Also, in fourth grade, when I was teaching fourth grade, they were teaching the articles of something of the Constitution or Confederation or something. And that's something that you really need in college, and or high school at least. But that was fourth grade. They had this really hard book that you were supposed to teach half of, but the kids didn't know that Christopher Columbus almost they didn't know the basic functions.
Wait, wait,
And
wait, wait.
then
You did. They. I still remember the boats. I still remember Santa Maria and all the rest of them. That he almost could have discovered America. That hindsight 2020, he didn't. But that's you should know how to. You ought to know your colors and your shapes and your basic alphabets, even in a kindergarten.
yes, but the thing is, they just hurry them along too soon. Like, um, I taught in Clayton County, and in first grade, they were supposed to know about two scientists, Benjamin Franklin and George Washington Carver. And they were supposed to write, these kids can't write cat, rat, hat, with much success. They were supposed to write a paragraph to compare and contrast these two. I mean, to me, if you are a kindergartner, I mean, first grader, and you know that George Washington Carver worked with
I
peanuts,
know that. Oh,
and you can make peanuts into peanut butter and to paint goods, but I mean, Also, if you knew that Benjamin Franklin, invented bifocals and the postal system and learned about
Answer,
electricity,
Dave.
if you could cut out pictures of them and say, "Hey, this is Benjamin Franklin's, inventions. These are George Washington Carver's invention." I'd say, "Yay, you got 100. You were so smart."
So
But the kids find out they can never get any because they never get anything right because they don't have basics. They don't make
Wow.
it.
what was the difference when you went to China?
And American students, what was the big difference that you saw over there?
Well, I could teach the way I wanted to. We had a phonic based one in second grade. I inherited a really badly taught class. So I really had to practice. Practice makes perfect. Like I know you're younger than me,
Hey,
but
I'm
we had
50.
to, well, I'm going to turn 70 this year. And but practice, practice, practice. I had in fourth grade, probably 2020, 2004, I, I had this child who came to me in fourth grade, Clayton County, and I taught adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and fractions. But I found out this child could not subtract. He barely could add because I'd give them this horrible test that I had to grade. It's the 100 facts. And I told his mom, your child, or his grandmother who was raising him at the time, your child does not know how to subtract. That's a shame to be in fourth grade and you're not always going to have a calculator. We have to make sure that these children have the basic foundation to really bloom and grow. I don't care how long it takes you to do that, but you can't teach them all these abstract concepts and expect them to do
Here's the
well.
tissue. What about like he said, the contrast that you saw working in China and then you're coming over here into the public actual schools? Is there a big difference?
I was able to teach them the way I was taught. I gave spelling tests, I did phonics, I did word families. I really in second grade they were supposed to know like letter blends and stuff. And I just did a lot of repetition. It was not fun. I got two poorly trained classes for 2 years in Beijing, but in Wuhan, I had kind of a low performing class and a high performing class. And they didn't know hardly any English,
Okay.
but they did their homework. I taught through videos and YouTube has great videos. I was able to download them. You can even have them on closed caption so they can read along, with their understanding. I gave that for summer homework, but I was able to build a foundation. I was able to give them spelling tests, 2 spelling tests a week, like we did long time ago, and that knowledge builds on knowledge. And so, with a firm foundation, they really could succeed. But when we don't give our children that in America, they are not going to succeed. You should give them goals that they can accomplish. And so I think if we taught like we were taught a long time ago,
Yes.
not that I'm smart or but almost everybody could learn because we did not expect them to be geniuses in kindergarten and first grade. I mean,
What do
we
you think
were
caused that? Do you think racing to the top and no child left behind? What do you actually think caused the breakdown? And I'm sweating, I'm sorry. Breakdown
oh, don't
of
worry.
our education system. And what do you feel now that the Trump administration is pretty much sending it back to the states?
It depends on your state. It really talk about Doge. People get I think your county administrators get like kind of kickbacks, maybe, for getting a new program, you
Oh,
know, but some of the old programs work. And when you're trying to always reinvent the wheel, I mean, um, it's not good. I think also a lot of people get their doctorate in education
Yes.
and they try to get out of the classroom. And a lot of them may have had their master's right away and they have the money to get out of the classroom and get their doctorate. And they really don't understand or care about the student as much as the real teacher in the class.
My husband said they stopped. I'm gonna tie in what Dave said about stop caring for the kids. I'm gonna tie it in with what Trishna said. When Common Core came in, is when things really got bad.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think I didn't know. My mother was Japanese. I'm half Japanese, but you can't tell it. People are amazed. But my mother really didn't read very well. She got her citizenship when I was like 13. It took her a while to learn. She never was really great at reading. She read Japanese and all that. But I didn't read when I went to kindergarten. I didn't know all my letters. I remember in second grade, I moved up from the lowest reading class to the middle reading class. Um, and I remember getting my little chair and sashaying over to that middle reading class and setting my chair down like, hey, I'm moving up. So, but I think all kids, if it's an achievable goal, even really badly behaved kids, they want to learn and please. And I think we would have less discipline problems if we allowed children to succeed.
Now, speaking of that, because life always tried to prepare you for the next step of your life. Ha ha! Now that you done went from teaching kids to battling adults, how are you loving politics right about now?
Well, you and I spoke a little bit this morning, and yeah, we the thing is, we are Republicans. We are not mindless Democrats. Democrats believe what you tell them. They have fallen under the spell of mainstream media. We at Psycho, we have seen through the matrix. We're like, hey, that doesn't sound right. I know what I'm experiencing at the gas pump. No, I think inflation's gone up. So I think the Republican Party participants and members, they're a little bit more stubborn and independent thinkers and sometimes harder to deal with than Democrats.
But we have our state convention coming up next week, and it's a very contentious races. How are you expecting it to go? I don't know if the governor's going to be there. I know Burt Jones going to show up. I know Burt's going to be there. What do you feel? You think that no, he has no reason to show up. The Brad Rathens, because he's not running again. So I'm not expecting Brian
I
Kemp to actually show
isn't
up.
Burt running for governor though?
Yeah, so is Brad Raffensperger too now. I thought you said you were going to say nothing. And we got.
He's done a
Say it.
really
Ratburn.
poor job for Georgia, you know. And yeah, I've been real disappointed in some of our elected officials.
Well, Gabriel Sterling, his right hand man, is running for Secretary of State.
Well, I can go out there and door knock and pass out cards for the people I want before, I'm not going to be endorsing them for myself, but I can go and give people rat cards and, of whom I want to give out rat cards for.
And then, like you said, but there's a faction inside, a fraction inside of the GOP. And how do you see you navigating it? Because you are a chairwoman and you have to stay neutral in a lot of these big battles that's coming on. How do you tiptoe around that while staying neutral at the same time, even though you know some of these people are not uh, Republican quality? Oh, that's a good
Uh,
one. That was a good. I did that. I did that. Go ahead.
you did very well. Um, I really stay neutral. I don't say, endorse this person, endorse the only one person I'm really endorsing. I don't know if I should say it,
Trump.
is Jaquan Stembridge.
Woo! Woo! That's my. I mean, I'm voting for him just because I said from day one I was going to support him. But as I'm looking at social media and I'm looking at X and I'm looking at
Mhm.
Facebook, these people gave me every reason to know our vote and the people that Jaquan, that he is the right choice. The way they are attacking him on Facebook for everybody to see, and they seeing how bad it is when a young person try to crack into the Republican Party. If I was an outsider looking in, I would say shame on each and every last one of them. A couple of them actually said he need to wait his turn.
Mm. Well, I'm in the third district in Fayetteville, Georgia, and we had a forum, the third district forum, and Jaquan was there, and he is just so articulate and graceful about what he says. And, assistant secretary is not like, it's not like chairman or first or second vice chair. I think Jaquan will shine in
Yes.
that. And just the thing is, I don't care if you're a David Cross supporter or a Josh McCoon supporter. You gotta give Jaquan like kudos because he's got it all together. He's a nice young man, and he I was just totally impressed.
I am very impressed. And here's what I always say: everybody's like, he need to wait his turn. He can't learn. I said, you learn. I want to say they learned on the job. No one goes into a position knowing 100% of anything, and half of the time, 50%. And that is where him being an assistant secretary can sit back and watch the secretary, and when she has or he has to leave or vacation, he could step in, or when she can't make it or he can't make it to a meeting, he could step in and do the job. And I truly believe Jaquan is the right person, not because I just love him as a son. It's because after all of the grenades that's been thrown against his name and the grenades of the favoritism that is happening inside of the Georgia GOP, I think that was enough to show that he deserves this position.
Yes, well, the thing is, he can be a great spokesman
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when he's not being a assistant secretary, that just kind of backs him up. But he's a young man. He's only 18. I mean, we need we need to find some youth around here. I'm turned 70. I'm getting older, but I'm excited, and just because you're 18 doesn't mean God gifts us all with different gifts, and He's
Amen.
gifted Jaquan with a bright wit and intellect, and he can think on his feet. And he's very. I like that he speaks unity.
Yes, he does. Now we have 2 minutes left, so I want you to go ahead and close out this segment. Tell everybody again who you are, what position you hold, because you're not running for a seat. You're already a chairwoman. Go ahead, Elaine.
Um, I'm Elaine Kilgore, and I'm the chairwoman for Fayette County. We helped elect Brian Jack and Trump, and uh, I the way I deal with this big divide that's David Cross, Josh McCoon is I did make that declaration for Jaquan because everybody should love him, but I don't declare much and endorse many people, and I don't tell my members who to vote for. That's totally up to them.
Thank you so much, Elaine. If you ever need me and Dave to come back to Fayetteville, just please let us know. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. This is a very interesting
I told you I
interview.
wasn't gonna be asking no gotcha questions. What we talked about on the phone is gonna stay on that phone. So everybody, this is Elaine Kilgore. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. Go ahead, Dave.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The Real News Rewards app, it is the best app ever. The best way to support and keep up with everything Lucretia Hughes and save a ton of money at the same time.
Heart of Georgia, she stands tall and proud. A voice for the people, cutting through the crowd. Truth on her lips, fire in her soul. Lucretia Hughes, she's on.
Ready to unlock the most extraordinary savings membership ever? Members are saving over $5,000 a year, and now you can too. With over 2 million ways to save, this app is your personal savings concierge, covering travel, entertainment, shopping, dining, and more. Let's get started. Grab your mobile device, click the link, and sign up using your registration code. Heads up, it's case sensitive. Prefer a bigger screen? You can also sign in on your computer. Click submit, then install. Your membership is live. Now, let's navigate your savings. From the home screen, tap Get Your Tickets. This is where the fun begins. You've unlocked deals on theme